Well, these folks are packed in here and bundled up. 32 degrees at Northwest Stadium. The Eagles and the Commanders in this NFC showdown. Nick Sirianni with a win today would tie Matt LaFleur for the second most wins through 4 seasons in NFL history, trailing just George Seifert. And his team would clinch the division with a victory. And Dan Quinn. Last time Washington started 9-5, Dan Quinn was a junior defensive lineman at nearby Salisbury University back in 1992. What a turnaround he's led, along with his quarterback here in Jayden Daniels, who you're going to get to see right away. Eagles won the toss, deferred to the second half. Philadelphia riding a franchise record 10-game winning streak, trying to clinch the NFC East with a win. Off we go from Landover. Side-winding kick. And it fell short of the landing zone, and so excellent field position to begin this game for Washington.
Short free kick. Ball did not land in the landing zone.
Here he is, Jayden Daniels. Turned 24 years old on Wednesday. Said he used it as a chance to reflect. Said kind of crazy how many different things have happened over this last year. He won a Heisman. He was the second pick of the draft. And he might be on his way to winning Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I don't, barring some sort of fall off the face of the earth for this Washington team, which I don't necessarily see coming. I mean, it's just so impressive. And since he's gotten healthy, dealt with some injuries a few weeks back, about at the halfway point of the year, he's playing a lot more in the style we saw earlier in the year, extending plays, using his legs, and of course his accuracy and efficiency in the short passing game is as good as anyone.
Yeah, more than 80% the last 2 games. He's got an open man here in Zacchaeus, but he sailed it over his head as he was pressured by Nolan Smith. Was Washington offense the most improved offense in the NFL from last year to this year? Key guy back today. Tyler Biadasz missed last week's game. He was under the weather. And then the tight end, Zach Ertz, has been a security blanket for the young quarterback. He was questionable with a concussion. He's in there.
And I think the one thing, probably the best thing that they've done because of the efficiency of Jayden Daniels, they have punted the least. They've scored on the highest percentage of offensive possessions. That is critical today against this really good Eagles defense.
Back-to-back pass plays. Slings one, and it's broken up by Darius Slay. 6-time Pro Bowler with the coverage. And it's 3rd and 10.
A really nice job here by Slay. He's back playing at a really high level, and because of the pressure that this Eagles defense can put on you with their ability to rush the passer, defend the pass, every possession for Washington today is critical. They're going to have to be aggressive on 4th downs. They're going to have to be willing to throw the ball downfield and challenge this Eagles defense.
3rd and 10, just like that. Daniels given time. Robinson out of the backfield. Got close, and right away you might have a chance for them to show, kind of put their money where their mouth is for the 4th down.
Yeah, I think they got to put it into hyperdrive. You've been so good all year sustaining drives and then scoring on them. But I think today it needs to go to the next level. Around midfield and in, they have to be willing to go for every one of these 4th downs. Every point's going to matter. Philly's a little late here getting their defensive subs in.
Commanders the best 4th down team in the NFL this year. It is Robinson. He's not going to get it. Josh Sweat along with Jordan Davis blowing it up. And Washington turns it over on downs to begin this game.
Yeah, you can see they just have some unblocked defenders. So they got a 6-man front, and they just have unblocked defenders. John Bates just leaves Sweat completely unblocked. And of course, we're going to call Big J and Carter and Jordan Davis. We're going to call their names a bunch, but I actually like the decision. I think you want to play from the lead. You know how good this Philadelphia Eagles team is in the second half with that run game and the defense. So the opportunity on the opening drive to score, maintain possession. I understand the approach by Dan Quinn on that opening possession.
It's only the 3rd time in 17 4th down tries this year they've been stopped. So Philadelphia begins at the 49 in Washington territory, and it's Hurts throwing behind A.J. Brown, who is defended by Marshawn Lattimore. Jalen Hurts, his best game last week, 25 out of 32. And look, Greg, I mean, a lot of talk about how they haven't had the passing game. He's done exactly what he's needed to for them to win games.
Absolutely, and just because it's not a very high volume passing game, and of course we're going to dive into all the reasons the ability of the run game, of course, with Saquon Barkley, the amount of games they play from ahead where they can really lean on this offensive line. But when he's operating as a pocket passer, he's very efficient.
Here is Saquon Barkley with a hold off the left side, and Barkley's first carry goes for 20. Historic first season in Philadelphia, over 1,700 yards to lead the NFL.
It's amazing. This has always been a very good, now Philadelphia's going to go hurry up tempo here and try to put some pressure on this Washington defense, but this has been historically a very good run offense in Philadelphia before Saquon got here, and now you add an elite ball carrier to what's already been a very good unit, and hence why they're on historic pace.
Hurts steps up, wants the end zone, wants A.J. Brown, who is defended tightly. Marshawn Lattimore, Washington debut last week, didn't give up a completion. We've seen this head-to-head matchup a few times through the years. Lattimore against Brown.
Yeah, so earlier in the year when Lattimore was still playing for the Saints against this Eagles offense, he only gave up 1 completion on 3 targets. In his debut down in New Orleans last week, New Orleans said, we're not even going to throw the ball in his direction. He didn't face 1 target. Expect to see Lattimore shadowing A.J. Brown, whether it's zone or man. He is going to be on the side of the field with A.J. Brown as often as possible.
That's Smith, the motion man. Kenny Gainwell made an impact last week. Short gain here, stopped by Bobby Wagner. So 3rd down and 9 coming up for this Philly offense that has it all. This group up front, we talk about the #1 rushing offense all year, and then showed last week they can still throw it too.
Yeah, and the offensive line in Philadelphia, Jeff Stoutland, the longtime offensive line coach, regarded as the best in the league. They are the key cog that makes this entire thing go. It's the versatility of the run game, the ability to pass protect. Jalen Hurts has all day in the pocket to hold the ball, so they're a big reason. But all these skill guys, they're the main story in town.
Coming after him, Greg, on 3rd and 9, and Hurts going to gash it. Chased down from behind by Dante Fowler. There is a flag down. It was downfield. 4th down and a couple coming up, but let's see what this flag's for.
Yeah, so something all day Washington's going to do. Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu.
Defense number 1. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Igbenogany called for the penalty and a first down for the Eagles.
Yeah, but you see that pressure up the middle. So they call it a middle cross dog. So it's your 2 inside linebackers. Wagner, you're going to see the hold here on Igbenogany, grabs him by the helmet. They want to try to make Jalen Hurts in passing situations move off his spot. They want to get him running laterally. He's a better pocket quarterback than he is a scramble passer. He's a very good scramble runner.
Barkley straight ahead. Has a hole. Saquon Barkley makes it 1st and goal. 2 carries, both of them big ones.
And this is the ability of this zone run game. You never know where it's going to hit. Watch Bobby Wagner, one of the best linebackers of all time. He's not exactly sure where Saquon's going to end up getting vertical through the hole, and so many of his yards come before contact because of this offensive line and the scheme, and then one of the best runners of this generation just takes it above and beyond.
1st down and goal. It's Barkley again, right side, down to the 1. Stopped by Johnny Newton. Philadelphia finally last week, Greg, got off to a fast start. Kind of the last piece to the whole formula they want to play. They had only scored 17 first-quarter points all season before they led Pittsburgh 10-0 after a quarter last week.
I mean, think 2 years ago, that 22 season on the way to the Super Bowl, their formula was very clear. Play from a lead, use 4th down as a weapon.
It is Barkley and a touchdown for Philadelphia. Could not gotten off to a better start today. They get the stop on defense at midfield, and the offense marches down and punches it in.
And it's just so simple. It's just simple inside zone. Nothing special. They have such versatility in their run game. We've seen them use a lot of little simple zones on this possession. Then they're going to get pin and pulls, and they're going to pull Cam Jurgens, the center. There's just so much that they can throw at you. The run game, the skill at the wide receiver position. It's when they're operating at this level, that's why they're one of the best teams in football.
Extra point coming from Jake Elliott. 7-0 Eagles as they hunt a division title. Bergen had an impressive 27-13 win. And off to a good start here. Luke McCaffrey on the return. McCaffrey has some room. McCaffrey crosses midfield. And again, Washington, excellent field position. 47-yard return, longest of his young career.
Yeah, so take a look. It's going to start as a right return. And then look, he's just going to hit the counter back. You can see all the leverage of the blockers. They call this a big field return. So you want to take it to the widest side of the field. And Luke McCaffrey, of course, it's a last name everyone recognizes around the NFL. He's played in every game. He's out there in uniform. They're kind of waiting for him to find his role on this offense that's gone to a lot of multiple tight end sets. But it's a big return there, setting them up on the plus side of the field.
So again, great field position, and Brian Robinson tripped up at the line of scrimmage. The ball is out, and Philadelphia's got it. Holy cow, what a start for the Eagles. Nolan Smith recovers that fumble that was forced by Jalen Carter. Cliff Kingsbury said to us, Jalen Carter absolutely wrecked us when we met him up first time earlier this season. It was going to be the key to Washington's game plan today, was taking care of this guy, but Carter forces the fumble. Nolan Smith recovers, and the Eagles have it. 1st and 10 at the 43. 49 yards for a touchdown on their first drive. Jalen Hurts in the offense, ready to work again. The old commander, Jahan Dotson, in motion. And it's a first down pass. Devontae Smith, season high 11 catches last week. He's got a first down in his first one today. Back to that fumble.
All right, listen in here. Do you see Jalen Carter? He goes, he's light. He knows the right guard, Sam Cosmi, is going to pull. So he just has to beat the back block by Tyler Biadasz. Watch. That's when you just know what the lineman's going to do in front of you. He's light in his stance. He knows he's pulling. He says, if I just beat this back block, I'm going to make the play, and he forces the fumble.
Hurts to throw again. Blitz is picked up. Room to run. Jalen Hurts, a big gainer. 22 yards. Hurts scrambles inside the 25.
Yeah, so take a look here at Cleveland Furl. He becomes the left defensive end when they bring pressure off the right side. But the rule of rushing, you never get deeper and you never get even with a mobile quarterback. He's got to squeeze the pocket. He cannot end up on the high side of Jalen Hurts. Like we said, Jalen Hurts is a better scramble runner than he is a passer.
Blitz got there that time with Frankie Louvu. Yeah, you were saying Dan Quinn wanted to make a move, but when you're saying you want to make a move, that's to the outside. That's the worst case scenario when he can scramble straight ahead.
You never want Jalen Hurts to be going forward. That's got to be intentional grounding. Yeah, so Jalen Hurts had Frankie Louvu unblocked in his face, and he just kind of threw it to nobody.
Sean Smith, referee.
Intentional grounding, offense number 1. Ball to an area where there was no receiver. This is a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. It'll be second down, loss of down.
Yeah, you can see there's just nobody out here. That's Jalen Hurts. So one thing about Jalen Hurts, when he faces pressure, he takes a lot of sacks and he has a lot of throwaways, which speaks to just the inefficiencies of some of the scramble plays. For a quarterback facing pressure, the order of operations, don't turn the ball over, don't take sacks, and then of course you want to gain a completion downfield. So 2 of the main things when he's on the move aren't necessarily the strengths of his game.
2nd and 20. Quarterback draw. Hurts with room to run again. Down to the 20 he goes. He got 13, and just big play after big play on the ground so far for Philadelphia against a Washington defense that have been stopping the run lately.
So watch Cam Jurgens. What did we say before? They love pulling the center. The first drive was all inside zone. We mentioned they have so much versatility and variety to the run game. How long did we watch Jason Kelce run in front of Jalen Hurts on that exact play? And now it's Cam Jurgens, and just a matter of time before some of these other linemen start pulling. And There's just so much they can do.
First time in 14 years, somebody other than Jason Kelsey at center. They're going to take Hurts off of the field here. Not sure if that's perhaps some of the medical officials saw that he needed to be checked on. Let's see the end of the play.
Play clock operator, please reset the play clock to 28 seconds. 28 seconds on the play clock, please.
See, his head hit the ground pretty hard there after he took the hit from Frankie Louvu. So on this third down play, Kenny Pickett, who's only played a handful of plays all season, is going to come in. Jalen saying, I'm good, but the officials say, you got to come out for at least a play here. And it's a big one, third down. Pickett, 3 passes thrown all year. The fourth one is to A.J. Brown for a third down conversion. And how about that? Cold off of the bench, finds Brown for 10.
So again, matched up against Marshawn Lattimore, but it's zone coverage. It's just a soft zone, too high safety shell. And if you give A.J. Brown that much of a cushion, I don't care who the quarterback is, that's just pitch and catch, and you're going to have a hard time getting him on the ground after.
Well, the former starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers in his first season with Philly, hands it off to Gainwell, bounce into the outside, and getting stopped after a gain of 1. Mike Sainristil along with Jeremy Chin for the tackle. Philadelphia pedaled to the metal in this first quarter. 27th in the NFL, where they've made their money is late in the game, leaning on that ground game. If you're Washington, you got no shot if you fall into a big hole.
And we were talking earlier before the Saquon touchdown. That was really the missing piece compared to that 2022 Super Bowl run where they jumped up on you so fast, played from the lead the whole game, and just put the other team at such a disadvantage.
Pickett on the move, hits a crossing Brown. A.J. Brown to the 4, stopped by Chin. 3rd and 3. The Washington red zone defense much better lately, looking to hold him to a field goal here.
And so they're calling this expecting man. It's just underneath mesh with Saquon Barkley running a little wheel route, and Washington ends up playing zone, which I think is smart. This is one of the hardest man matchups in the NFL, defending this Eagles passing game and the mobility of Jalen Hurts. So most teams play them zone. See what they decide to do here on third down. Again,
play clock down to 3.
Got press, bottom of the screen, one-on-one, Marshawn Lattimore and A.J. Brown. They're going to take a timeout.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni was showing his best 40 time there, running up the sideline to call the timeout. Not just to avoid the delay, but also looks like to get Hurts in the game. During this timeout, gives us a chance to check in with Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Joe. Yeah, Jalen Hurts went into the tent for just a brief second. He was followed by the team's athletic medical staff. He came out of the tent. They seem to feel like he's okay. He's got his helmet on, which means that they are not trying to keep him out. But nobody at this moment is really spending time with him. But it looks like they may want to take a second look as he takes off his helmet and seems to go to the area of the bench at this stage.
Yeah, he's doing his best sell job there, but then he goes back, and Kenny Pickett's going to be the guy on 3rd and 3. And this is the play that he was injured on. 3rd down and 3 for Philadelphia inside the 5. And out of an empty set until Barkley comes across. Pickett. Brown, touchdown. A.J. Brown on the slant for the score. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the Eagles.
Yeah, so before Philadelphia took that timeout, see Kenny Pickett, he's loving it. Press man, bottom of the screen. Early in his career, A.J. Brown in Tennessee, he was an in-break, slants, posts, and big body run after catch. He doesn't do it quite as much in Philadelphia. A lot more of a vertical go ball, but one-on-one, Marshawn Lattimore has been playing at a high level for a long time, but if you're going to play outside leverage on the goal line press against A.J. Brown, you're going to lose.
Barely held on to that, by the way. Kind of a body catch. How about Kenny Pickett? First quarter points all year. Well, they outscored Pittsburgh 10-0 in the first quarter last week. 24 points in the first quarter the last 2 weeks, 17 all year before that. McCaffrey had a long return last time. Washington's had great field position in both drives, but done nothing with it. McCaffrey catches this one on a line drive on the move. This time he's not going to get outside. Stop shy of the 25-yard line. So Kenny Pickett comes off of the bench there on 3rd down and 7, and instead of just handing it off, playing it safe, they say, oh, we trust this guy. We're going to let it rip.
Yeah, I mean, how many times on 3rd and pass do you see a backup quarterback or a tough, and it's a draw, it's a screen, it's a rocket? Nope. Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore, they said, nope, we've got the best receiver in football. I don't care if it's our backup quarterback in 30 degrees cold off the bench. We're going to throw the ball and be aggressive. And it's really just the entire personality and philosophy of this Philadelphia organization under Nick Sirianni. They are going to keep the pressure on you at all times.
De'Ami Brown dumped in the backfield by Darius Slay. It's also not often that your backup quarterback was a first-round pick 2 years ago and 2 years as a starter in the NFL.
Nice job there by Darius Slay. He just completely avoids the block. Ben Sinnott, the rookie tight end, just can't get anything on him. And this is where Washington has to be careful. You don't want to start chasing points too early in the game, but they have to be willing and able to throw the ball downfield, get some chunk plays. It's going to be hard to go the distance against this defense.
2nd and 12, throw underneath, and it's Slay again, all over the place to start this game, knocking it away from Zaccheaus.
Right now, this is about the 3rd free rusher. They're going to bring pressure off the slot. And this is about the 3rd time now that we've seen a Philadelphia Eagle defender be unblocked in the face of Jayden Daniels. They've got to shore up this protection, start identifying who the pressure guys are and who the drop players are.
3rd down and long. Daniels with good coverage downfield is going to get what he can, but that's not a whole lot. Nakobe Dean there to get him. No gain on the play. 8 plays so far for Washington for a total of 7 yards.
I mean, think back to their first matchup in Week 11. They went on that really nice opening drive, a mix of Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson, a lot of 2 running back sets. They had a lot of success, opening drive touchdown, and then they didn't score again, a touchdown again, until the last possession of the game with under a minute. So Cliff Kingsbury, they've had a lot of success over the last couple weeks, a really hot start to the year, and they've got to figure out this Vic Fangio defense before this game gets out of reach.
Cooper DeJean waits back on this Tressway punt. DeJean last week fumbled one, and then right after that had a 23-yard return. Good hang time from Way. DeJean from the 30. Got around the first man. Yeah, got tackled at the 37-yard line. 49-yard punt. 7-yard return. 14-0 Philadelphia. There's a flag on this punt. It looks like it's still going to be Kenny Pickett at quarterback.
Four yards on the Philadelphia return. 1st and 10 from the 36. Hey, the TV?
Dan Quinn's team coming off that narrow win in New Orleans last week, 20-19. Again, they led 17-0, barely hung on.
Personal foul, kicking team number 54, blocking the player out of bounds. 15-yard penalty will be added from the end of the kick. 1st down, timeout.
It's the opposite story for the Commanders this week. Early hole, though Kenny Pickett came on for him. And we go down to Pam Oliver.
Joe, Jalen Hurts, he sprinted back to the locker room a little while ago. He was followed by the independent neurotrauma consultant and the team's medical staff. He is being evaluated for a concussion. We will update you when we get something further on if Hurts will or won't return.
All right, Pam, and if there's any offense equipped to be good no matter who they've got at quarterback, it would be this one.
Absolutely, and just expect the team that runs the ball more than anybody in football. Up until this point, Washington has not had an answer for Saquon Barkley, this offensive line. So this is a big drive here now. This Dan Quinn defense of Washington, they need to settle down because they've played a lot better as of late, especially their run defense, and they got to find it here.
Barkley, 9 yards a carry so far. Stopped right here by Sheldon Day. Yeah, the Washington defense had given up one run of 10-plus yards the last 3 games. They've already given up 4 in this one.
Yeah, and it's really been the biggest reason for their improved play. They've gotten a lot better at perimeter corner. We've talked about Mike Sainer still. He's really settled in. Opposite now Marshawn Lattimore, who they traded for a little over a month ago, playing in his second game for Washington. So as they've gotten better on the perimeter, the pass has gotten better, and then been able to give a little bit more resources at the point of attack in the run game, like you said, limiting those explosive plays.
This is Frankie Louvu coming up with a pick. Stepped in front of A.J. Brown. The play that Washington had to have. They get the pick from Louvu.
All right, so you come off cold off the bench. Kenny Pickett, maybe you're not quite ready. I know he's had the touchdown, but watch Frankie Louvu here. It looks like he's going to take Calcaterra to the flat and open up A.J. Brown, and then he just drops the flat and falls right underneath the snag route. And Louvu is Pickett's read. He is looking at him. If he goes to the flat, the ball gets put on A.J. Brown now. He kind of okey-dokes him, and you said it right there. They were reeling. They needed a play, and it came from one of their big free agent signings from Carolina and Frankie Louvu.
There is a flag down here.
Too many men on defensive formation. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Too many men on the field on the Eagles. There may not be a more disruptive player on defense in the league right now than Frankie Louvu. You look at the sacks and the takeaways that he generates. I mean, look at the eye black. He just looks disruptive.
When you talk to the folks in Carolina, of all the players they lost, Brian Burns, Jeremy Chinn's another one here in Washington, he is the player they miss the most. He represents everything Dan Quinn wants as an identity here in Washington.
First time they find Terry McLaurin. Got a block from Jamison Crowder. Got a first down. Just one catch against the Eagles the first time around, and they are going to get it to him more today. We got our first game break. Here's Carissa. We talk about the Eagles trying to clinch the division today, fighting for the 1 seed as well. One of the 3 12-2 teams along with Detroit and Minnesota. On 1st and 10, Daniels looking towards the end zone, but he was pressured and dropped by Milton Williams. A flag will fly. Second one of the drive on the Philadelphia defense. Can't get away with much these days.
No, I mean, he kind of just shoves them. It was kind of like a 2-hand shove that obviously determined it was well after he got rid of the ball.
Foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 93. After distance penalty, automatic first down.
So they get Williams, who quietly is having a really good year. We talk a little about Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, the first-round picks. But Milton Williams, who was a third-round pick 3 years ago, has had a breakout season himself.
He has. He's got one of the highest pass rush win rates of any interior defensive lineman in the entire league, and kind of gets lost with all the names, Jalen Carter and a lot of these premier defensive linemen. But you're right. He's having a resurgence here.
Robinson on 1st and goal. He was met in the hole by Nakobe Dean, who has blossomed for this defense as well. Butkus Award winner at Georgia, the nation's top linebacker a few years ago. He was pretty much his special teams as a rookie, and then he had won the job last year but injured his foot, missed much of the season. What he's doing this year is what they always figured he eventually would. 2nd and goal for the Commanders. Been excellent in the red zone lately. Dump it to Zacchaeus. Dropped it. It was going to be one-on-one with the Gene. Throws a little bit out ahead of him, and it's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, they love using Zacchaeus as kind of the move around. A lot more motion now in this Cliff Kingsbury offense, moving guys around, which I really like. And he catches that ball. It's man coverage. That's exactly the look that you're looking for on that play. And then it just becomes a one-on-one for the goal line. And take a look there at Kingsbury. We were in this very stadium. They played the Dallas Cowboys, and we said there has to be some sort of second iteration. They've had a lot more motion, moving Terry McLaurin around.
3rd down and goal. You wonder if this is 4-down territory at this point. Daniels given time. He's got a man for a touchdown. It's Jamison Crowder. Crowder, who's missed a lot of this season with a calf injury, just came back last week for his first game since September, and he's got his first touchdown of the year here.
Well, you mentioned they've been so good in the red zone. Watch Jamison Crowder. Nice patience. Selling like he's going to block for De'Ame Brown in the flat. And then the trigger there, you got to put somebody in that position that has some patience. The last thing you want to do is rush it, sell it, and then the second the defensive back bites, that's your trigger to the back of the end zone.
Man, this thing already felt like it was on thin ice. And then Frankie Louvu came up with a big play from the defense, the interception. This is the worst defense in the NFL last year. Complete overhaul. They've got 10 starters today that are in their first year in Washington. Frankie Louvu, one of them, and one of the first guys Dan Quinn thought of when he was...
What did he say? He needed to recalibrate. He goes, we're not reloading, we're not rebranding anything. He goes, I need to bring in some more players that represent the vision that I have for how I want the Washington Commanders organization to play. And he adds Bobby Wagner, and he adds Frankie Louvu and Jeremy Chin. I mean, a lot of these guys play the game exactly how Dan Quinn imagines it.
Kenny Gainwell on the return. And Gainwell slips his way to the 31. Let's get another update on Jalen Hurts from Pam.
Well, Joe, we continue to monitor the Jalen Hurts situation. He remains in the back at this point. There is no official update at this point, but you think that the longer he stays back there, perhaps the news isn't that great, but we will definitely keep you updated if we find out something new.
All right, Pam, so it's Kenny Pickett trying to lead the Eagles at this point to an 11th consecutive win, trying to keep them right in the one-seed conversation in that three-way tie. They've got to win their last 3 games and have the Lions lose one to get that top seed. Here's Saquon Barkley, who they always lean on, and no different today. He's spilled after a gain of 1 by Daron Payne. Talking about the new guys on this Washington defense, Payne is the only starter today who was here last year.
It's just incredible because it's so often in the NFL that you kind of revamp your roster and bring in a lot of proven veterans, and it takes some time for it to all come together. So for them to hit on this many veterans, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and have them all play at a high level so quickly is really a testament to the job of this coaching staff.
Barkley carries it 20 times per game, has room, and there he goes. Saquon Barkley showing the speed. He'll take it all the way. Touchdown from 68. Barkley over 100 yards in the first quarter in Washington.
Yeah, so this is a really, really good job there by Kenny Pickett. He's checking, so it's a two-way play. They can run the counter lead either to the right or the left based on the front. And obviously, when you have one of the best backs of this generation behind this offensive line with this scheme, man, it's pretty special.
Yet again, starting to look at Eric Dickerson's mark, single-season NFL record back in '84. He needs to average 140 yards over the last 3 games to set the all-time record. He's got a shot at it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even touched. I mean, that's as well blocked, as well schemed as any run you're going to see at this level of football. And then, oh yeah, the guy with the ball in his hand, you can make a case he's the best running back of the last decade, right? I mean, him, Derrick Henry, all these veteran running backs that have changed locations and have really had career seasons. What did we say earlier? Saquon Barkley's no dummy. He said, I'm going to go to a team. 2 years ago, Miles Sanders ran for over 1,200 yards on the way to the Super Bowl. And all of a sudden, you put in Saquon Barkley behind this O-line in what's been a very good run game, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, feed him, that fan says. 6 years with the Giants, obviously not a great situation there. He comes here to the perfect situation, great O-line, good system. And Saquon Barkley having the time of his life here in his first year in Philadelphia. So back to a 2-score lead. McCaffrey backs up and takes this one at the goal line. Luke McCaffrey to the 32. Washington goes back to work. Daniels looks to throw. Daniels takes off, scrambles more than any quarterback in the NFL, and does this time for 8 or 9.
Yeah, it's such a big difference for Jayden Daniels kind of after he got through that spurt where he was playing banged up and kind of really protecting himself both as a scrambler and as a designed runner. He can get a little carried away. Last week against New Orleans, he took 8 sacks. So Cliff Kingsbury said, we've got to find a common ground where, yes, we want him to be active with his legs, but we just can't take sacks at that high of a rate.
Bubble screen, Terry McLaurin going to get a first down. C.J. Gardner-Johnson the tackle. Yeah, injured his rib back in late October against Carolina, and then Washington lost all 3 games in November. He just didn't quite look the same. And right after the Dallas game that you mentioned, Cliff Kingsbury pulled him into the office and he said, look, we got to stop protecting you. For us to have a shot, we've got to be as aggressive as we possibly can. And Jayden said, good, that's what I want. I mean, he's always been the guy. Lean on me again, he said. And more as this month has gone on, they've gotten back to that. And you got the sense that this is going to kind of be the Mona Lisa, that whole approach today, if they're going to have a chance. Aggressive as can be. Robinson, no gain. Dean, another tackle. Ajama in there as well. This is going to be a tall task for Washington today as they try to keep the offense going against this Eagles defense. Vic Fangio has turned this defense around, 30th in the NFL last year to #1 this year. And against a good Pittsburgh offense last week, gave up just 163. It's the lowest total for the Steelers in 14 years. Flag down. Daniels zips one. McLaurin has the catch against Mitchell. See what the call's for.
I think this is going to come back. I think Terry McLaurin was moving forward.
Illegal motion, offense number 17, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Yeah, so again, we mentioned they're doing such a better job now moving Terry McLaurin around the formation. Earlier in the year, he was stationary. Watch him here at the bottom. Watch, see how he's kind of drifting forward? I mean, it seems slight, it seems really small, but just that's the difference between a pickup of a first down and.
Well, during the break, C.J. Gardner-Johnson was called for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Always chirping, always kind of in the middle of it. Number 8. Yeah, that moves the ball into Eagles territory here to begin this second quarter. Penalties racking up for the Eagles already. It's their 7th penalty in this first half. One of the things Nick Sirianni's been so pleased with during the 10-game winning streak, the fundamental things have been there. The penalties have been low. The turnovers have been low. Not very many self-inflicted mistakes. A lot of penalties, though, in this game so far.
Yeah,
and he's the one that got called?
Yeah, so the head referee was right there. You can see him pointing at him. So even though De'Ami Brown pushed him, he either said something, and the official was pretty adamant that even though Brown reacted second, he was pretty strong there that Gardner-Johnson started the whole brouhaha.
He must have said some really bad words.
Yeah, he must have said something bad because De'Ami Brown hit him right in the face. Tell you what, I've heard some crazy things out there, and I don't know how many times I've ever seen it get flagged. I've had some crazy things said to me over the course. I can't repeat them on air. This is a family.
No, don't do that.
This is a family broadcast.
I want to keep you.
Our kid. I don't want to lose my job.
Hey, what happened to sticks and stones may break my bones? Words will never flag me. But
yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, that's
not how it goes.
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it goes.
Why don't we start this second quarter? Should we do that?
I'm ready.
Okay. Jayden Daniels in that first quarter was 5 of 9 with the touchdown. It'll be from the Philadelphia 44 that Daniels in this offense begin the second. Got 2 running backs in there. McNichols along with Robinson. And it is Robinson into the teeth of the defense. Stopped by Dean. Game break again with Carissa. Fans saying, okay, maybe next week the Lions will lose.
I think it's pretty clear Washington Commanders Hail Mary officially killed the Chicago Bears.
Jeez, you ain't kidding. That's out ahead of Robinson, who was open, defended by Sweat. 3rd and 8. You got to figure this is another one of those spots they got to be thinking 4 downs.
Yeah, I think right now if you're Jayden Daniels, there's got to be something past the sticks that you can target on time, and then you either need to activate as a runner or get it to a check down and try to get this into a 4th and manageable. As checking into Remington. So it's obviously an empty check right now. You can see Philadelphia 2 big high safeties.
Straight ahead run for Daniels. 1st down, sliding across the 30.
Yeah, so really nice design there. They go empty. They get the look they want. Look how deep the safeties and the corners are. He goes quarterback draw. It's actually quarterback trap. That's a really good design. They trap with the left guard, Nick Allegretti, and that's a really good play. Now we know Remington is quarterback trap to the right.
There you go, rest of the league. 14 yards to convert 3rd down for the first time. Daniels pressured from behind and sacked by Nolan Smith. 1st round pick last year coming to life, taking advantage of the added playing time because of the injuries. Although we'll see here with a flag down.
Personal foul, defense number 98.
Man.
Unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Jalen Carter, who was called for an unnecessary roughness last week for throwing a punch, called for another one here. 2nd of the drive on the Eagles.
Yeah, so take a look here. You see Jalen Carter.
No way.
I mean,
is this become a thing where the reputation follows him, and so officials are looking for that?
I do. I don't listen. Jalen Carter, he's had his moments. He's gotten into his sideline altercations with coaches, and listen, he plays hard. Oh, they're going to shift to a little wildcat.
Robinson to take the snap and take the ball inside the 10-yard line.
I think he
ball
fumbled
comes
again.
out. Cooper DeJean's on top of it. And it looks like the Eagles have their 2nd takeaway of the day. DeJean, the fumble recovery. Robinson hadn't fumbled all season. He's fumbled twice in this first half. Still Kenny Pickett for the latest on Hurts. Here's Pam. Last drive, he just handed it off to Saquon, and he galloped 68 yards for the touchdown. Brian Robinson, again, had not fumbled all year. He's fumbled twice today. So much of what has made Washington good this year is they've been efficient, long drives, protected the ball, 3rd fewest turnovers in the NFL. But you said they're going to have to hit some explosive plays today. They've not gotten those, and they've not been their usual efficient selves. Pickett, even one for Brown, underthrown, comes back and gets it. A.J. Brown against Lattimore. 34 yards.
I just love this call by Kellen Moore. They go 3 tight ends and only 1 wide receiver. They leave A.J. Brown. It's just one-on-one. Marshawn Lattimore just can't find the ball. And the old rule in football, you want to spread them out to run, and you want to pack them in close to throw it. And it's a great example there, backed up on your own side of the field with a backup quarterback being aggressive.
You know, what a nice situation for Kenny Pickett to find himself in with these players he has around him. We said right away, this offense has it all. Too many flags so far on both sides.
False start, offense number 47. 5-yard penalty.
The one thing going against the Eagles today, it's already their 8th penalty. So Brown with a big catch. Already Saquon Barkley over 100 yards on 7 carries. He's not getting touched.
Well, we talked, right? It's the perfect marriage. The history of this Nick Sirianni since he's taken over has been it's a strong run game. Best offensive line in football. That continues, and now you put in Saquon Barkley, 99 of his 109 yards without being touched. I mean, the combination of the two is historically good.
On the defense was there, stopped by Sheldon Day. So 2nd down coming up. You look, Saquon healthy, confident. He's hitting the line of scrimmage at the fastest average speed of his career. Part of that is the health, but part of that is There's nobody forcing him to slow up before he gets there.
Yeah, it's like a quarterback playing in a clean pocket. Their confidence gets picked up. They're willing to hold the ball a tick longer, to let a second guy develop in his progression downfield. Same thing for a ball carrier. I can hit that hole 100 miles an hour, knowing more times than not, I'm going to come out the other side of that tunnel.
Pickett 4 for 5 so far. Finds Smith this time. Jeremy Chin throws him out of bounds. He got 5, and it's 3rd and 8. Offensive line coach Jeff Stoughton. Some of the names have changed up front. This guy's been a staple and has a reputation as one of the best in the business at what he does.
There was a lot of conversations about how they're going to replace Jason Kelsey, the All-Pro, potential future Hall of Famer. You see him on TV now every single day. We all love him, but Cam Jurgens there, big 51. He's done a great job, but it's Lane Johnson at right tackle, Jordan Mailata at left tackle. They're the best duo in the entire NFL.
3rd down, Pickett scrambles, chased by Payne, chased by Chin, throws it away. 4th down.
All right, so I know it's going to lead to 4th down. Watch Cam Jurgens. He has Frankie Louvu. When he drops, watch him come all the way to the outside and pick up Jeremy Chin. I'm not sure if I've ever seen anyone do that. Typically, the whole line would kick out and the left tackle Mailata would pick up Chin, but that is beyond impressive, and I think that's what Jeff Stoutland's telling him right there. I know it was for nothing, but great job, man.
Yeah, impressive stuff. 300 pounds, move like that. First Eagles punt of the day from Braden Mann. Crowder says, look out, bounces out of bounds. Well done by Mann inside the 10-yard line, downed at the 4. 10.5 left in this first half. Washington going to be different than last year, right? Because last year they got off to the 10-1 start. They lost 5 of 6 to finish. Got blown out in the playoffs. The vibes were not good. And it started to hear some of that the last couple weeks. Like, okay, maybe there's some dissension again, but they responded to that quickly. More adversity today, losing Jalen Hurts. Here's a deep ball to De'Ami Brown. Perfectly dropped in. What a throw by Jayden Daniels. And there's one of those big plays they've got to have. This one for 50.
Well, there you go. That's what's been missing down the stretch here for this Washington offense. For as efficient as Jayden Daniels has been in the intermediate, it's the ability to throw the ball downfield. And whether it's Brown, Terry McLaurin, they have to find that. Now, against this Philadelphia Eagles, they are built to prevent the deep ball, but they have to continue to take their shots, and it's a great one there.
Biggest catch of the season for De'Ami Brown, who's gotten a big role with Noah Brown hurt. Back to the ground here in Robinson for 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. And now Brown leaves the field hurt. And already a little bit thin at that receiver position. We mentioned losing Brown. And now Nakobe Dean is down for the Eagles. Dropping like flies. I think it's one of those things when you talk about Jayden Daniels, you're talking off of the top. Is he perhaps underrated? Not given enough credit for what he's done, despite when you look around what's around him, even when they're full strength, it's good, it's not great. But then, you know, Ertz gets hurt last week. They've been without Brown. They've been without Eckler. And Daniels is still having the kind of season that, regardless of rookie or veteran, is excellent.
Yeah, that's why you draft a guy 2nd overall. The hope is, more likely than not, if you're drafting that high in the draft, barring some sort of trade or unique circumstance, the season before, you got a lot of holes to fill. The roster is going to take some time to rebuild and surround the young quarterback with the weapons that you envision, but the hope is, at the 2nd overall pick, you can elevate those players. You can elevate De'Ami Brown, and you can get the most out of Zach Ertz and, you know, and the pieces around. And he's got Terry McLaurin, who's been a long top-tier player in this league with a rotation of quarterbacks in Washington, and a lot of just really good, solid NFL players.
Chris Rodriguez, his first carry. One of the guys that's taken advantage of the injuries, getting his shot with Eckler out. And his first touch takes him close to a 1st down. Stopped by Zach Bond. He's a little bit short. 3rd and less than 1. In a 21-7 game midway through this 2nd quarter. It's felt like all Eagles. Commanders trying to overcome the 2 turnovers. Back to Rodriguez, who gets popped in the backfield by Milton Williams. They lose a few, and it's 4th and 3.
Yeah, as you just backdoors Tyler Biadasz, the veteran center that came over. He's trying to reach and do a little what they call a single block, and he's just going to backdoor Tyler Biadasz, and
it's like 4-on-2 in there.
I tell you, there's no reason to overset. He has his left guard, Nick Allegretti, right next to him. There's no need for Biadasz to overreach and get beat backdoor. Now 2nd, 4th down try here.
They roll Daniels. He sets up. He's got room to run, and he will for a Washington 1st down. Tripped up by Carter. Needed 4, got 5.
And I like the play design. Look, they brought the left tackle, Coleman. Bates, he's at left tackle. So they go tackle over, and they're just trying to do a little sprint out throwback. And once Jayden Daniels sees there's nobody there, you mentioned it, he's one of the top scramblers in the quarterback position in the entire league.
Yeah, he's scrambled 20 more times than any other quarterback. Brock Purdy's next on the list, and it's not close. They fake the end around. They hand it off to Rodriguez. Rodriguez got 2. The hole was plugged by a couple guys. Oren Burks and Zach Bond both in there. Washington very aggressive on 4th down all year. Been talking about how they're going to be aggressive today, and you can understand why. When they convert a 4th down, 9 of the 14 times they've done that this year, they've gone on to score touchdowns.
Yeah, look, so they score at 64% of the time. League average is 52, and for all the talk about Philadelphia and the tush push and their ability to go for it on 4th down, in the same amount of attempts, they actually score more on those drives than Philly does.
Daniels waiting for something to come open. Looked for Crowder, couldn't hit him. 3rd and 8. Coverage downfield tight by the Eagles. Just nothing there for Daniels.
So this Philadelphia Eagles defense, any team coached by Vic Fangio, their core principles are going to be limit explosives. They're 2nd in the league coming into the game. You saw them let up the big one on the first play of this possession to Brown. It's going to be heavy zone, light boxes. They want to control the run game with the front box and keep the coverage unit intact.
Bring an extra man here. Wants McLaurin. He's got him. Touchdown, Commanders. 32 yards, 2 big ones through the air on this drive that goes 96 yards.
That's just a big-time ball. I mean, under pressure, unblocked Eagles defender in his face, and he just drops it in the absolute perfect spot in the bucket. And downfield, there's very few receivers better than Terry McLaurin at contested catches and tracking deep balls. And that's a big-time answer for a Washington team that after that slow start now is back in it.
Line drive of an extra point is there, and we mentioned Terry McLaurin, just the 1 catch against the Eagles.
All right, so 2 things go into this touchdown. Watch Zach Bond and Jelix Hunt. Coleman, the left tackle, has to what they call sort that. They have nobody for Hunt. Watch Mitchell. He's thinking he's going to get an inside break. We're bringing pressure. Ball's going to come out fast. It's empty. They're thinking slant, inside break, but Quinyon Mitchell, he puts his back completely to the inside, which allows Terry McLaurin to just run unabated for a huge touchdown.
His 12th one of the season, 2nd in the NFL. Only Jamar Chase has more. Here's Isaiah Rodgers stumbling as he crosses the 20 and getting decked. "96-yard drive." And Jayden Daniels, who was struggling to get things going, 2 long completions on that drive at the 50-yarder to De'Ami Brown, had the touchdown to McLaurin, and then he himself had that scramble for a 1st down on 4th and 4.
Yeah, and a lot of teams come in preparing to play a Vic Fangio, this Philadelphia Eagles defense, and say, okay, we're not going to be able to throw it deep. They don't let anyone throw it deep. Well, so many teams just kind of remove it from the playbook and don't even give themselves a chance. And There's a lot different going the quick way with generating explosives than going methodically up and down the field against a very good defense like they were earlier.
Barkley met at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Jeremy Chin and Carl Davis. Chin, who left last week's game with a concussion. They weren't sure as this week went on if they were going to have him, but an impact player from that secondary comes up and makes the stop. He had 13 tackles when these teams met up earlier this season. On 2nd and 10, Barkley again. This time there's a hole. And stopped by Carl Davis, racking up the tackles here. Got 4, 3rd and 6. 4 rushing touchdowns of 60-plus yards. That's tied for the most in NFL history, and a pretty good list. Adrian Peterson, Jim Brown, Saquon Barkley. Third and 6. Washington brings it. Pickett finds Brown. Stopped right away by Lattimore. One-on-one, and Lattimore slams him down. It's 4th down.
So we talked coming in, no more challenging matchup in man coverage than A.J. Brown. But watch the job here by Marshawn Lattimore. It looks like it's going to be a drag route. He's going up, and now he has to stop and drive and not only get there, but get one of the more difficult wide receivers in all of football on the ground, short of the sticks. And you have to wonder, I know it's deep in their own territory with Jalen Hurts on the field. That's a tush-push scenario. That's a huge factor to keep in mind.
Jamison Crowder. And so the Commanders with the ball after the 42-yard punt. Push their look, fun name, cool thing, right? But it's more than a novelty. It's central to their strategy on offense.
Oh, it's a weapon. I mean, just think about it like this. Every time with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback, every time they take possession of the ball, it's almost like it's 1st and 8, 1st and 8.5, because they know if they get to 4th and under 2, especially late in the season, it's been virtually unstoppable. They had some ups and downs early, found their way replacing Kelsey, but it's such an advantage. You almost have an extra down in your pocket. You have to wonder if they would have gone for it there if Hurts was healthy.
1st down pass play. Daniels on the move. He's chased. High steps his way across the 25. Franchise-changing quarterback, Jayden Daniels. When you have a pick as high as the 2nd in the draft, you better nail it. You take the quarterback. We've seen it go both ways. When you draft wrong, it can set you back for years. But if you nail it, this can happen. You can go from 4 and 13 and decades in the wilderness to playoff position just like that. 3 games left, 9 and 5. And in the playoff field if it were to begin today. 2nd and 7. Robinson. Stopped by Zach Bond. Got just 1. 3rd and 5.
I think to kind of piggyback on what you're saying here, it's, now we got another Eagles player down.
Jordan Davis this time.
Jordan Davis. To follow up on that about, the quarterbacks and the young, we've seen it go both ways. We've seen quarterbacks bust onto the scene in first year and then take a little regression in the second, and vice versa. So for them to have a...
Because we showed earlier, right? 8-1 against teams that aren't very good, haven't won a game against a winning team. You get the sense that, yeah, you can win some games being efficient, not turning the ball over, having these long drives, but to compete against teams like this, you're going to have those big plays.
Yeah, the 2 biggest metrics that dictate success in the NFL, especially offensively, is you want to win the turnover margin. You hear that every week. And then it's win the explosive play margin, right? So every defense wants to limit them, and every offense wants to generate them, which is why there's been this kind of pendulum swing to a more pass-heavy offense around the NFL, and the conversation around the importance of the run game. But then all of a sudden, a team like Philadelphia, who can generate such a high percentage of explosive runs on the ground, they're able to allocate more plays to the run, because it's all about how many yards can you generate per play.
They want 5 of them here on 3rd down. Daniels given time underneath. McNichols got tackled right away. Darius Slay has made a bunch of plays in this first half. Holds him to a gain of 1, and they force the punt. Injuries, by the way, something to monitor here with the Eagles. You just saw Jordan Davis leaving the game. Josh Sweat, Pam has told us, is questionable with an ankle. And, of course, Jalen Hurts, the big one looming over this, has been ruled out the rest of the way with a concussion.
Yeah, it's funny how much injury luck and part of it is preparation and part of it, but some of it's just out of your control at the end of a football season in the NFL. And just amazing how some teams come in super healthy and then it goes haywire. And then you look up in Detroit, how many more players can they lose on defense before? But I mean, they're up 27-7 with their entire defense is not playing.
Trussway to Cooper to Jean, a fair catch at the 27. No falling all around him. No gloves, no coat, no nothing. We got mid-30s and 19 layers. Eagles 21, Commanders 14, 3:07 to go in this first half. Kenny Pickett taking over for the injured Jalen Hurts. He's gone 6 for 8. Looks to throw it. Scans the field, lets it fly. A.J. Brown continues to go head-to-head against Lattimore, who knocked it away at the last moment.
I just want to go back and show everybody something. 2 possessions ago, they ran this play against Jalen Carter. Now this time, Bates goes in and he cuts Jordan Davis. Jalen Carter got up a little slow, and now on this one, this was the play. So it's a wham play where an off-ball player comes in and blocks the defensive tackle, but he's chopping him, he's cutting him below the waist, and that's the play that Jordan Davis. So they've run it now twice. We'll see if they come back to it again.
Gainwell comes in, he's got it. Kenny Gainwell's taken advantage of his limited opportunities the last few weeks. Burrows forward for 3. 3rd and 7, under 3 to go in this first half. Timeout taken by Dan Quinn here.
First yard, timeout, Washington. 30 seconds.
Well, coming up on Friday on to pull away, you got the 2 takeaways, but then Hurts gets injured, and Washington, when they've had to have the play, they've had it.
Absolutely, and it looked like it was about to get away from them. The Hurts injury obviously is the story of the game. Everyone just hopes that he's okay and isn't out very long, but let's give a lot of credit to Washington. They could have just folded over and said, hey, this is the best team in the league. We're not ready for this right now. And offensively, they've answered when they've had to. Remember, they had a fumble deep in Philadelphia territory on the prior possession to the last touchdown, and this thing would be all square.
3rd and 7, handoff. Barkley. God, 5 or 6. Not enough.
So again, nobody in the league runs the ball more on 3rd and medium. Those are usually pass downs, 3rd and 4 to say 3rd and 7. But Philadelphia, think back to what we said, their willingness to go for it on 4th down. Now, I don't think this is going to be quarterback sneak.
It's 4th and 2.
Yeah, this almost feels like they're going to try to get him to jump off sides.
Yeah, into the 2-minute warning, whatever it is, going to have time to think about. All right, not going to mess around after the 2-minute warning trying to draw them off sides. They send the punt team out, and after the Eagles scored on 3 of their first 4 drives, this is 3 straight punts, including back-to-back 3-and-outs. So Jayden Daniels in the offense going to have a chance to tie this game up with a 2-minute drive here to finish the half. 2 timeouts. Braden Mann with a line drive. Jamison Crowder juggles, recovers. Yeah, and gets a few to the 33-yard line.
Whoa, man. I know he bobbled it, and it almost looked like he lost it again. And no harm, no foul, I guess. But that was really close. So take a look. I mean, he bobbles it initially. And then at the end, it looked, yeah, see how far it was away from his body until he finally got 2 hands on it. All right, so now this is a critical approach here. I think if you're Washington, you got to be careful. You want to pick up this first down. So it usually goes get a drive starter, pick up the first down, and then you go into 2-minute mode where you try to go down and get points.
Over the middle, too tall, and it is C.J. Gardner-Johnson hanging on for the pick.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. So you're feeling good. Kenny Pickett hasn't been able to do much on the offensive side of the ball since replacing Hurts, and we got a little bit of a scrum now on the far sideline after C.J. Gardner-Johnson has the pick, but you just can't do that. You don't want to give Philly the ball back before the half, knowing that they're going to get it coming out of the half. So he's got McCaffrey. This is where he wants to attack, which is the right read. He's wide open, and it just gets away from him and sails. About as easy an interception as Gardner-Johnson's going to have. That ball just needs to be put right on his chest or just check it down. But the last thing you want to do in this situation, Joe, is if you're Washington, is say, okay, here, Philly, you take the ball back, give you an opportunity to get points before the half, and then receive the kickoff to start the third quarter. And just as I've crawled back into this game, now I give you a chance to possess the ball in back-to-back situations.
Well, it's the one thing they've been able to count on this year is not turning it over. They turned it over 9 times over their first 14 games. That's 3 in the first half today. It's Barkley. Got 4. Igbenogany the tackle. 2 timeouts for the Eagles, 1:35 and counting. 3 straight punts for Philadelphia after the offense was rolling in the first quarter. 21 first quarter points. And trying to beat the clock here as the first half winds down to get back in the end zone. A.J. Brown close to a first down. Brown, after the big game last week, 8 catches, 110 yards, has another touchdown today. That's his 6th catch of this first half. A little short, 3rd and 1.
Yeah, so something worth noting, there's been a pretty significant change for Washington's defensive approach. When Jalen Hurts was at quarterback, it was man and blitz. They've kind of gotten more zone, and now, oh my God, they got him.
Luvu on the blitz, gets Barkley in the backfield.
Who else? There's the fire starter who kind of saved the day early on, but watch him just anticipate the count. And if you're Calcaterra on the road, you're the furthest guy from the center on the line of scrimmage. With no help there from your left tackle, Mailata, you're just not going to cut Frankie Luvu off.
Kind of a staring contest right here with the clock where it is. They're going to let it run down here, and then Philadelphia, let's see if they actually snap it and go for it. Dan Quinn deciding not to use a timeout.
There is 0 chance this ball gets snapped.
All right, so call the timeout there with 11 seconds. Yeah, normally very good from long distance. Jake Elliott's not hit from 50 plus this year, and this would be close. In seconds, they're going to send the offense back to the field. What do you think?
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. They still have got a timeout. They can't take 2 in a row, so.
You got an 11-second Hail Mary in the playbook? Run around, chuck it up.
The concern here is now, obviously, if you fail, Washington still has 2 timeouts. Give them an opportunity now. With 11 seconds, even if you fail on a long developing pass, should only be a couple seconds left on the clock.
Zip to the sideline, and Devontae Smith has a first down with 5 seconds.
Yeah, so the plan there is so the clock's no, they got to use their final timeout because they did not rule him to go out of bounds. Yeah, so worth noting there, when Devontae Smith went out of bounds, because he's contacted, Joe, you have to be moving forward when you go out of bounds. And so watch, with that contact, he's going backwards. So that's why you saw the official on the sideline wind the clock. But I think it was smart because think, even if that ball falls incomplete with 4 seconds left, other than a Hail Mary, not a lot of options for Washington's offense. And at least give themselves a chance for a long field goal.
Jake Elliott, 7 of 8 from 50 plus last year. 0 for 5 this year. This is from 56. He's short. And his long distance issues continue. 21-14. A lot happened in this first half. And it ends like this with the Eagles ahead by a touchdown. And Elliott falling just short.
if you're Washington, you're down 21-14 with 3 first-half giveaways. I think you feel like you're in pretty good shape.
Eagles have it to begin the second half. Here's Kenny Gainwell. Had a steam on the return, and he got crunched shy of the 25. Tyler Owens, the tackle, and it was a loud one.
You don't have that extra down in your back pocket. It's a completely different animal now without Jalen Hurts.
First play of the second half is a Barkley run. Cleveland Furl is there to stop him with Frankie Louvu, and we check in with Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Joe, next man up is a popular phrase we hear in football all the time that certainly pertains to Jalen Hurts being out of the game with a concussion. I asked Nick Sirianni, well, what changes without Hurts on the field? He said simply, we stay the same. Big picture-wise, in a game with a lot of punch and counterpunch, Sirianni told me what he expects. He said, play our game and to play with poise.
As they try to clinch the East. Pickett, off play action, going deep, wants Brown. Pass interference coming on Lattimore. Was jousting there with Brown, and they're going to get him.
Yeah, in live action, it seemed pretty clear Lattimore was holding his arm. You can see, look, A.J. Brown, he has his hand inside the collar of Lattimore's jersey, and that's why Lattimore was so enraged at the official when he saw the flag. Look, he's pulling his collar down, and it's just 2 big, strong guys fighting for the ball. And
pass interference, defense number 23. The ball replaced that spot in the foul, automatic first down.
It's kind of been exactly what you hope it'll be when you get 2 Pro Bowl, all pro caliber players going head to head. They told Lattimore this week, hey, you're going to be shadowing Brown. He said, yes. Like, that's what he lives for. And he asked Brown, he said, let's go. I've faced off with him a bunch of times as a guy that feels like he's one of the best receivers in the game. This is the kind of matchup he loves.
And this is why Washington made that trade, to bring him here to improve their secondary matchups and give them an opportunity when a guy like A.J. Brown comes to town to match him.
38 yards on that penalty. Back to Barkley, who had 108 yards in the first quarter. He's only got 18 since. And they keep on playing through the whistle right there. Sainer still in for the tackle on a gain of 2. So it's been the other way around for Barkley, who had the huge fourth quarter against the Commanders in their first meeting. It was the huge first quarter this time, but they've buckled down. Second and 8. Pickett wants Brown again. Covered again by Lattimore, and a flag once again. An instant replay. Brown letting him know about it.
All right, so I understand why they called the first one on Marshawn Lattimore. In live action, it did look like he was grabbing his arm. I don't know what he did there other than just run behind him.
Defense number 23.
Yeah, so he
placed that spot in the foul, automatic first down.
So remember, just because he has his hand on his back, it's not so much the contact. He has to be determined that he's restricting the movement of A.J. Brown, and I just don't know if that's enough now to make it back-to-back pass interference calls on Lattimore. And
A.J. Brown has more receiving yards than any player in the league against the Commanders since coming to the Eagles 3 years ago. The Commanders were hoping they had their answer for that in Lattimore. They continue to duke it out. Advantage Brown, first drive of the second half. Barkley, right side to the 5.
Yeah, so I think it's worth noting there's been a big drastic change in how Washington has been playing defense, and now they're trying to pull Bobby Wagner out of the camera unit. Looks like he's okay. So in the first half, when Jalen Hurts was in there, granted it wasn't a very big sample size, it was man and it was blitz. They wanted to move Jalen Hurts off his spot and get him running side to side. We talked about that. Now, since Pickett's come in, a lot more zone and a lot more single high safety. So what does that do? It really stresses your corners to play, even though it's zone on those vertical routes, it plays like man.
2nd and 4, Barkley again makes the cut. Igbenogany sticks his nose in there for the tackle, and 3rd down coming up. These Eagles winners of 10 games in a row. Hottest team in the NFL, 12-2. Tied for the best record in the NFC. Dan Quinn's team, one of the best turnarounds in the league, 4-13 last year. Playoff position this year.
All right, so Wildcat
right here with Barkley. Saquon right side. Is he looking to throw? He was, and they were ready for it. Dropped in the backfield.
Yeah, really nice job by Washington. They're trying to get Devontae Smith. Just sell it, and then go. But there's just nowhere to throw it. You'd have to elevate it over the top of Jeremy Chin. And after giving up the 2 big defensive pass interference calls on Lattimore, which was pretty much the entire drive for the Eagles, that feels like a big red zone stop for this Commanders to start the second half.
Rookie Johnny Newton gets the tackle there. So the field goal attempt coming here for Jake Elliott. And he's got it to make it a 10. Been a long time since they felt like this around here. Last time they had 10 wins in a season, RG3's rookie season, 2012. Another rookie quarterback in town, leading them to the verge of 10 wins here in 2024. Short kick taken to the 15-yard line by Jeremy McNichols. And a really good field position right here for a game with an injury. Still, though, waiting for Josh Sweat to come back. Sweat left with an ankle during the first half. Well, it's a screen that they'll throw into the ground, covered well by this Philadelphia defense.
Hey, 17.
Boy, could they threaten 50 again? Lions have scored 50 a couple times this year. 34, third quarter. De'Ami Brown knocked out of there by Bond and recovered by Nolan Smith. Was it a catch and a fumble, or was it an incompletion? I don't know that he had it long enough for that to be a completion. There is no official signal yet, but the fact that they haven't said incomplete means that this is a catch and a fumble.
So watch Bond here, inside out on this rocket screen. Zach Ertz isn't quite sure which guy to take, him or DeJean. And
ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Philadelphia for a first down.
Bond knocks it out. Smith recovers it. The question will be, did De'Ami Brown have full possession of this?
So take a look. So he takes 1, 2, football move. I think it's a catch. I think that's going to be ruled a fumble, and I think that's a catch fumble. I mean, live action, it happened so fast. I think there's now another dead ball personal foul after the whistle. I'm not sure who it's on, but I think after seeing that replay, that's going to stand as a catch fumble.
And Zach Bond, his 5th forced fumble of the season. Only T.J. Watt has forced more. Well, after we went to break, C.J. Gardner-Johnson got called for his 2nd personal foul of the day. And Dino, that's an automatic ejection.
Automatic. That's the bad news for Philly. 2 unsportsmanlike. Remember, he got called earlier in the game in the first quarter. And once you get that second one, you're out of the game. The good news, it was a catch fumble, and the Eagles will get possession.
All right, so the 4th takeaway of the day for this Eagles defense. They lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is responsible for one of those takeaways with an interception. We didn't get a great look at exactly what happened, but there's a good chance there was nothing to look at, that it was words again. That's what the first one came on. And I didn't see a whole lot here. But the Eagles safety is thrown out of the game. Here's Pickett. Hit from behind. It's stripped. It's loose. It's still loose. Who's got it? Cleveland Furrow from the backside with a sack to force the fumble. Now, who recovered it?
So one of the officials hold up number 2, which means Philadelphia was able to recover. It's going to be 2nd down, but that was a great rush. You'll see here on the left side, Cleveland Furrow, he just runs right by Grant Calcaterra, number 81.
Textbook, huh?
That's how they teach it. Attack the throwing arm of the quarterback. The days of just getting blindside hits are over. Everything's about attacking the ball in the pocket, and I think it might have been Calcaterra who fell on it.
Calcaterra and Lane Johnson were both on it down. I think Lane Johnson said, hey, look, I'm 6'6", 325. I'm going to be the guy in this pile.
I'll take care of this, man. You gave up the sack. I'll get the ball.
Gainwell got stymied. Sheldon Day has made a couple tackles. Short gain, 3rd and long, and Again, Kenny Pickett's only in the game because Jalen Hurts left with a concussion. You can't see this if you're Philadelphia. Oh boy.
Well, this brings up nightmares. I mean, the last thing they could afford is losing a quarterback. Hopefully he's just kind of shaking it out.
Tanner McKee is the emergency quarterback.
Well, we'll find out right here. Whether they ask him to throw this ball or not. We'll get a good idea of how that arm's feeling after that strip sack.
3rd down, 16, handed off, Saquon Barkley. And this Washington defense continues to fight. There is a flag down, though, and could this be a face mask to extend this drive?
I think it is. I think they're going to get Daron Payne. Watch his left hand. He sticks it out there and...
Personal fouls, face mask, defense number 94, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Man, oh man.
It's just back-breaking. You get the sack. Quarterback's kind of struggling, feeling his arm, not sure whether he could throw. And they pretty much are just conceding the possession on 3rd and long, running an inside handoff and saying, we'll just add yards to the punt. And again, penalties really for both teams have been a big story today.
Eagles in the first half, Commanders in the second. The scoring drive for the Eagles to open the second half, 61 of their 69 yards came on 2 pass interference calls. And now this drive continues with the face mask on Payne. A lot of those yards for Barkley came in the first quarter. He's always loaded up, ready to roll. The deeper the game gets, though. He's got it here. Spins off initial contact, goes down in the backfield. Good penetration from the Washington defense, who gave him no shot. And you know, Greg, that this defense is going to be digging extra deep, motivated by the way that Saquon ran over him in the first meeting.
Yeah, I mean, just look how many more bodies there are in the box now. Until Kenny Pickett proves he can throw the ball downfield and challenge the coverage of Washington, they are going to say, we are not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us. Look, they only got one safety, Quan Martin. He's back in the middle of the field. Look at all the bodies around the line of scrimmage.
Brown to the top, Smith to the bottom. 2nd and long. Pickett given time. Timing route. 1st down, Devontae Smith.
All right, well, I guess his arm's okay because that ball was thrown with anticipation, timing. The ball was in the air before Devontae Smith gets out of his break, and that was a great throw. He says, all right, I like my matchup. Lattimore's going to go with A.J. Brown. I'm going to work on the rookie Sainristil still with one of my other weapons.
Play action. Coverage tight. Pickett extends the play. One of his targets, Brown, fell, and so Pickett will get pushed out of bounds by Bobby Wagner. Got just a yard, 2nd and 9. Tackling machine for this Washington defense. Wagner, 34 years old, 13th season, and doing what he's done no matter where he's been every single year. Leads the team in tackles and then quietly leads the defense too. Doesn't talk a ton, but when he does, everybody listens. 2nd and 9. Barkley tripped up at the line. You're talking about Wagner, what a leader he's been. He asked Dan Quinn after the Dallas loss if he could address the team, and Dan said, yeah, great. And he stood up there and he said, guys, don't listen to the outside noise. If you stick together, you're going to like where this is going. And Dan Quinn said it was one of the best speeches he's heard a player deliver. So good that he had a transcript typed out, and he's taped that speech to his wall so he can read it every day.
He's one of the most impressive guys. I was his teammate for a year in Seattle. One of the most impressive guys I've ever been around.
3rd down and 9. He's on the blitz here. Went for Brown, and the 3rd PI of this half on Lattimore.
Yeah, one of the few times now we've seen Washington go cover 0. They blitz everyone, play straight man, and
pass interference, defense number 23. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic 1st down.
Yeah, so they don't have enough protectors for all the rushers, and if you continue to give A.J. Brown inside releases, his ability to be a big body target on slants and in breaking routes, it was such a huge part of his game. even before coming here to Philadelphia in the trade, and that was definitely a pass interference. I mean, the ones on the last possession, you can make a case either way, but that was clear as day.
So he's got 74 yards receiving, and then in this half, he's got 68 yards that have been racked up on pass interference calls. Here's Barkley. Washington making life tough on Saquon Barkley in the second half. Lost a few more right there.
Turnovers by the offense, and obviously, as you mentioned, the story of the second half has been the defensive penalties on Washington.
Brown down near side with the rookie Sainris still over him. He crosses the field and he's open, but there's room for Kenny Pickett to run and slide ahead near the 25-yard line. Got 4. And third down coming up. You know, when you consider all those things, you consider the 4 turnovers and all the penalties, the fact that it's a 10-point game still feels like a win for Washington.
It does. It does. I mean, they're hanging in there the best they can, and you know, there was so much talk going into last week's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers about this passing attack and getting A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith more involved. Prior to that last snap, of the 17 routes A.J. Brown has run, he's been targeted 11. It's the 3rd highest of any receiver in the league. So the volume of targets now is starting to pick up over the last 2 weeks.
3rd and 7. Pickett steps up. Pickett throws on the move, and Devontae Smith has the catch and a first down. Smith gets 13 against Sainris still.
And it all starts with the best pair of tackles in the NFL. Their ability to pass protect one-on-one. Look how many guys you can get out in the route. You get all 5 of your eligibles into the route concept. It just puts so much stress on the coverage because they don't need to give their offensive line very much help with their backs and tight ends.
Barkley. Just 2. Jalen Holmes, the tackle.
You know, I think so often when you talk about Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, we saw Lane Johnson go up one-on-one almost the entire game last week against that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and T.J. Watt, one of the best defensive players. And it's so easy to say, all right, what's their impact on protecting the quarterback and all the normal things, but I can't stress to you enough, as a defense, for the tight ends and the backs to not be sitting there chipping, late getting into the route. They can't get a lot of depth because they're so worried about helping the tackles. Just another way these offensive linemen, particularly at the tackle position, impact this offense.
On play action, Pickett threading to the end zone, wanted Brown, who, guess who, is defended by Lattimore, and this time Lattimore with the upper hand. 3rd and 8.
A.J. Brown continues to get inside leverage. It's clear there Lattimore is expecting inside help from safety Quan Martin. Just gets rid of that ball before Clelin Ferrell puts the hit on him.
Big play right here. Washington can hold him to 3. This stays a 2-touchdown game. 5 to snap it.
Showing cover 0 again. Bobby Wagner now is checking out of it. You see all the defenders back, or they're going to take a timeout.
Timeout. Philadelphia, 30 seconds.
2 plays for Washington. This feels like the 4th quarter last week when they had a 21-play drive to run off the last 10.5 minutes. You know, Pittsburgh last week only had 2 possessions in the second half.
Well, it's one of the, we can go on and on about what's unique about this Philadelphia offense. They can beat you quick, second most explosive offense in football, generating big plays, but then because of the ground game, because of their ability to slug it out, they also can maintain possessions, and they're very good in the red zone.
Brown against Lattimore to the bottom of the screen. That's where Pickett's looking as he gets sacked by Dante Fowler. 10th season, one of his best, and his first one here in Washington.
All right, so they go all up pressure again, and you can see Lane Johnson, they all have to slide left. It's empty protection. They only have 5 protectors for 5 rushers. This is on Kenny Pickett. That ball, he has to understand, my slide is to my left, my hot is to my right. There's no one there to block that edge pressure, and that ball needs to come out.
Team high 9.5 sacks this season for Fowler. This is Elliott. And he's got his second make of the half. They only go 36 yards, but they go 14 plays and take off 8 minutes. And settle for the field goal, so Washington will get it again here. McCaffrey's had a good day in the return game. Yeah, and he's got another good return here. Washington to begin close to the 40-yard line.
Was protect the football. It's why they're on the doorstep of the playoffs and in contention in the first place. So very uncharacteristic. 9 coming in, and like you said, 4 here already today.
Against Philly defense, no longer has C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's ejected for his second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. He's replaced by Tristan McCollum. And it's Cooper DeJean tackling Jayden Daniels here on the first play of this drive. And only the 3rd play of this half that Washington's run, and we were talking about it last possession. This is part of the magic of what the Eagles do. They just don't give you many chances.
Hey, Ray.
And you hit the big plays when you get them. 2nd and 4. Daniels in trouble. Throws incomplete. Got pressured by Jalen Carter.
Exactly sure what they were doing there. I mean, it was only a 4-man rush, and Tyler Biotish, the center, and Sam Cosmi, the right guard, they should have had what they call 4 hands on him. There's nobody else. You need to block Jalen Carter. Before you worry about anybody else, the center, more times than not, is going to take the slide to 98 and just say, okay, we're going to get 4 hands on him unless our linebacker blitzes.
3rd down and 4. They hand it off. McNichols finishes forward for a first down. He got hit at the line, still able to stumble ahead. First down, Washington.
I know Washington likes to play in a no-huddle style tempo, but I think they have varying tempos within the no-huddle. I think they've got to go to one of the faster ones. Start snapping this ball. They've got to get more plays run.
Quick throw. Zaccheaus spent last season with Philadelphia. Played his high school ball in Philly. St. Joe's won a couple of championships. Over to Washington, first season with the Commanders. And he's got a first down on this catch right here. Under 2 to go in this 3rd quarter.
One element of the no-huddle that is a little limiting is it does pretty much keep Terry McLaurin on the left side. We talked how much they've moved him around of late.
Screen. McNichols. Drilled by Bond and Dean. Those 2 linebackers that have had breakout seasons. There's an injured commander. One of their offensive linemen back around midfield. It's Brandon Coleman, the left tackle, who gets to his feet.
You can't say enough about Zach Bond. I mean, you see so many of these guys around the league now. Frankie Louvu is Washington's version. They're off-ball linebackers, but they're also edge defensive players. And that versatility is what Vic Fangio loves, because even when they're in nickel, which is only 5 defensive backs, 2 linebackers, they can move him anywhere they want.
Bringing pressure here. Zaccheaus hemmed in, nowhere to go. Jalen Hunt and Darius Slay both there for the tackle. Yeah, Howie Roseman, the GM, called Vic Fangio, said, what do you think about Zach Bond? Edge rusher, right? And he said, I see an inside linebacker that, yeah, if I need him to be an edge rusher, can. He comes here on a contract barely over the league minimum and is one of the top tacklers in the league. And the key to this defense, ranked #1 in the NFL.
He should make the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly. He's had that level of impact on the #1 defense in the NFL.
3rd down 11. They need just inside the 30-yard line here. Daniels given time. Over the middle. Tight window. Tipped and incomplete. Well, there are white shirts surrounding Terry McLaurin. DeJean and Mitchell both there. 4th down and 11. Offense staying on the field.
So they call this a dagger route. So it's just a deep in-breaking dig. And with this soft umbrella coverage that Vic Fangio loves to employ, there's 2 deep safeties. They play from high to low depth, and they can see everything with vision and just drive on the ball. Those are hard balls to fit into this Eagles zone coverage.
Best 4th down team in the league, but this is 4th down and extra long here. 4th and 11. Daniels steps up. Daniels needs inside the 30 with his legs. He'll get it. Jayden Daniels, a first down and more to the 11. Gets 30 yards on 4th down and 11. The second time today he's converted a 4th down with his legs. To the fourth quarter we go as the Eagles try to clinch the NFC East. Commanders, in a game where they gave up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, have turned the ball over 4 times. Here they are with a chance to cut it to a touchdown. Start in the fourth quarter with a 1st and 10 at the Philly 11-yard line. McNichols drilled by Bond, filled the hole, lost a few. Back to that big 4th down pickup by Daniels.
All right, so they're playing. It's clearly 3rd and long, only rushing 4. The issue is they don't dot the rush. And what that means is when you're only bringing 4, nobody can get behind the quarterback, especially a quarterback like Daniels. And then in the open field, it's hard to see here exactly what they're thinking, but it's in the back of their mind that if he slides, I don't want to hit him and extend the drive, and you just don't feel like they go tackle quarterbacks downfield.
Daniels dumps it off. McNichols shaken, powering inside the 5. And it'll be 3rd down and 2. Jayden Daniels grew up in Southern California playing flag football, and he says his ability to make guys miss comes from that background, making them miss his flags. He's run for 68 yards, 2nd week in a row he's been their leading rusher. They've cut him loose again after that month of November where they kind of protected him coming off that rib injury in late October.
And I think one of the biggest things he's done well today is not taking sacks. He's only had 1 sack today against this good Eagles pass rush after taking 8 last week.
3rd down and 2. He'll look to throw. End zone, thrown low, but caught. Olamide Zaccheaus, a touchdown. His first one as a Commander comes against his old team, and this is a 1-score game somehow.
Yeah, see Zaccheaus, he's the number 2 receiver in the 3-man concept, and they just run levels. They get a flat player and a corner player behind them, and not the best ball, but remember, Tristan McCollum, number 36, he's in the game at safety because C.J. Gardner-Johnson was ejected earlier in the second half after his 2nd personal foul.
Zaccheaus had a touchdown last week that was wiped away because of penalty. This one will stand. Zane Gonzalez adds the extra point, and the Commanders are within 6. Well, twice today, Jayden Daniels has converted a 4th down with his legs, and on both those drives, the Commanders have capitalized with touchdowns.
Yeah, remember that graphic we showed early in the game? 64% of drives that they convert a 4th down on, they go score a touchdown. It's one of the best in the league, and led to 2 touchdowns here today.
Here's Kenny Gainwell on the return. Ooh, almost slipped through there. Tripped up as he crosses the 30.
Success rate's not very good, and it's really been on the legs of Jayden Daniels, the arm of Jayden Daniels, and of course, you see the impact of the 2 4th down conversions there.
Again, no Jalen Hurts, out of the game with a concussion. This has been Kenny Pickett, and this is where Saquon Barkley typically lives. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. 2nd and 10. Saquon Barkley had 109 yards in the first quarter of this game. 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's got just 24 yards since, but maybe he's just waiting for his moment, and that typically has been the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and that moment very sure could be coming. We've obviously seen him do it, but remember, there's this narrative that a good run game opens up the pass. Without Jalen Hurts in this pass game, all eyes right now are on Saquon Barkley.
Who's got the ball? Calcaterra leads. Barkley jumps his way through the hole and a 1st down with his best run since that first quarter.
Yeah, and they've had a lot of success with those counter-type schemes. We saw it on the long touchdown in the first half. This time it's Calcaterra, the tight end. He's the lead blocker as the 2nd puller.
More than half his yards in the first meeting came in the 4th quarter. 76 yards, 2 touchdowns as the Eagles came from behind to win that game in Philadelphia. From the 42, Barkley again, blown up by Daron Payne, who's having a heck of a game up front. Lost 5 there, 2nd and 15.
Yeah, so clearly here, Mekhi Becton and Lane Johnson, just a mistake. Everybody's going right, and Becton goes left, and I can promise you there's some good run designs in this Eagles offense where they leave guys unblocked, and I promise you.
That was not one of them.
You don't want to just leave the 300-plus pound 3 technique unblocked on the play side of the run. I can promise you that.
It's got to be disorienting for a D lineman, like, wait a minute.
Well, you think you're about to get trapped or rammed, but he doesn't end up getting blocked at all.
Play clock down to 2. They just barely get it off. Pickett in trouble. Pickett lost the ball. It's loose. It's loose. It's Washington. It's Sainver still. The Commanders have the ball at the 14-yard line with 11:45 to go. The question is, was Pickett's hand coming forward?
Yeah, in live action, it looked like he was trying to shovel past the ball in the direction of Saquon Barkley. It's hard to tell whether his hand was coming forward or not. Let's take a look. I think it is. I think they're going to rule this as an incomplete pass.
So the turnover wiped off of the table. It is an incomplete pass. I don't know if Pickett knows it yet. Remember in the first half we saw Kenny Pickett cranking that arm as if his arm was bothering him? Well, it's happening again here. Yeah, they make the official ruling that it's an incomplete pass. Still, though, it's 3rd down and 14. Tanner McKee is the 3rd quarterback for the Eagles. You're the 3rd quarterback. You don't come into the day thinking you have any chance of playing a factor.
Well, that's exactly why they have that emergency designation. You think back to that San Francisco 49er game in the playoffs a couple years ago when they lost both starting quarterbacks, and kind of looked like he was feeling that left side of his rib where he came down on the top of Bobby Wagner. But man, we talked about Bobby Wagner earlier. They use him and Frankie Louvu as interior blitz pressure linebackers as well as any defense in the league. And we'll see how much faith they have in the health of Pickett. Last time he got up holding his arm, they just handed the ball off. We'll see what they do here.
He'll look to throw. Underneath, Gainwell, not enough to the 44. Gain of just 6. Johnny Newton finished him off. Wagner was the first guy to hit him, and the punt team comes out, and so they don't get that takeaway, but they are going to get the ball back. Looking to overcome the 4 turnovers, looking to overcome what was a 2-score deficit, and it's felt like it for a lot of the day. Dan Quinn's team, opposite story from last week when they led 17-0, barely hung on 20-19. They're coming after it. Man gets rid of it. Fair catch taken by Crowder back at the 12-yard line. Now in a game where they've turned the ball over 4 times, they've got the ball here down 6 early on in the 4th quarter. Trying to beat the odds here and beat the Eagles to get to 10 wins. Jayden Daniels, a franchise-changing rookie quarterback, in rhythm underneath De'Ami Brown for 5 on first down, tackled by Nakobe Dean. It's a depleted Eagles defense. Injuries have tapped into them. Josh Sweat's not played much in this second half. They're without C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's been disqualified. And if you happen to just tune in, Jalen Hurts, first quarter, left with a concussion, and so it's been Kenny Pickett. Pressure coming here, thrown incomplete. Hurts wasn't ready for it. Yeah, Daniels had no choice but to get rid of that ball. Nolan Smith was coming after him. 3rd and 5.
Yeah, this is about as much for an Eagles defense. They don't traditionally love. You see, just on time. He must have saw our graphic. Sweat's back in the game here on 3rd down on a critical pass situation. This is an Eagles team that doesn't traditionally pass very much. They're on pace right now to have their 3rd highest blitz percentage of the entire season. They keep sending extra rushers at Daniels.
They are going to do so here. It is Robinson with a flag in the secondary. Robinson's got 8 yards and a first down, tackled by McCollum. Eagles are saying this is on Washington. Washington saying it's on the Eagles. Everybody's pointing at everybody. Only one opinion matters, though.
Holding, defense number 33. Penalties decline, result of play, first down.
Yeah, the story's been 4th down for a lot of this day for Washington. Here they don't wait. They pick up 3rd and 5.
They call it right here in the slot. Yeah, I mean, he got the first down either way, so the penalty really was a non-factor. Kind of didn't seem like a whole lot of contact from that angle.
Bubble it outside. Luke McCaffrey, a couple blocks in front. McCaffrey's first catch of the day is a 12-yard gain on a bubble screen with good blocking ahead from McLaurin and Zaccheaus.
And if you've noticed now, with all the struggles they've had in the run game so far today, they've resorted to, on first and second down, just quick, easy, short passes. That, in essence, just replaces a run game that hasn't really gotten anything going. Robinson has 2 fumbles. This Eagles defensive line is very good versus the run.
Blitz coming again, picked up, one-on-one, taking a shot. De'Ami Brown, incomplete. Stride for stride, Isaiah Rodgers, the coverage. Rodgers in the game because Darius Slay has left. He's feeling an injury as well, and they go right at his replacement.
Yeah, this is really good off-coverage catch technique by Rodgers. He locates the ball twice. It's really well played. I know the crowd's calling for contact, but that's a nice job there by Rodgers. As you mentioned, filling in for Darius Slay.
First season here in Philadelphia, first few years spent in Indy. Rodgers in a big moment here in the game. 2nd and 10. Daniels to throw again, over the middle. There's a first down. First time that he's found a tight end today. Zach Ertz, the longtime Eagle, gets 11.
Yeah, there was some question about whether Zach Ertz was going to be able to play today. Left last week's game, and just he has such an uncanny ability, especially against zone coverage, that if you're open, stay open.
Quick snap. Flags in the secondary. Daniels has an open man. Blown coverage. Zaccheaus. Touchdown. Tie game. What are the flags for? They're scattered all over the field. Whatever the call is, it was obvious.
12 men on the field. Defense. That penalty's declined. Golden players a touchdown.
Boy, they had 12 men, but it looked like they had 10. And Zaccheaus has a 49-yard touchdown to tie the score.
All right, take a look here. There's Slay. We mentioned he's trying to get off the field. Clearly, just lack of communication. So look, the side of the field that Slay, who was the 12th man, he's trying to get off the field. There was nobody left on the entire sideline to defend Zaccheaus, and that's about as easy as of a completion downfield as we've seen Daniels have all day.
This is preposterous. They've turned the ball over 4 times against maybe the best team in the NFL. Yet they have the lead. 28-27, Washington in front as Jayden Daniels. Olamide Zaccheaus, no touchdowns first 14 games, 2 touchdowns in the second half in this one. Washington's in front 28-27, trying to get their 10th win. Zane Gonzalez sends it away. This is Rodgers on the return, high stepping his way across the 20. Isaiah Rodgers stumbles to the 35. Injuries across the board. The ejection of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Their 2-score lead has disappeared. And now it's Kenny Pickett, clearly playing through an injury himself, an upper body injury, trying to lead him from behind. Barkley got 4, maybe 5. And Saquon Barkley, who is galloping free, I mean, hardly getting touched in the first quarter, has had a tough go since then.
Yeah, I mean, after starting in the first quarter, you just mentioned it a minute ago, he had 7 for 109 and 2 touchdowns. Of the 109, 99 came before contact. Since then, on his 18 rush attempts, since then, he's been hit behind the line of scrimmage, Joe. 11 of the 18 rushes in the rest of that game. I mean, what an adjustment by this Washington defense.
Barkley again at the line of scrimmage. He got contacted by Javonte Jean-Baptiste, the rookie out of Notre Dame, and it'll be 3rd and short. Yeah, this Washington defense most improved in the NFL from last year to this year. Throughout this season, they've gotten better, and then a microcosm of that today.
Absolutely. In fourth quarter, that's been the Achilles heel of this Washington defense, is giving up the most points, and obviously pretty well covered today just how good Philly has been in the fourth quarter. So see what holds.
3rd and 2. Fake to Barkley. Pickett for Brown. Broken up. Lattimore knocked it away. Well, a few times today, Brown's gotten the better of Lattimore, but on this 3rd and short play, sticks his hand in there and knocks it away.
And now Sirianni's got a decision to make. The ball's thrown slightly behind A.J. Brown, and that's what allowed Marshawn Lattimore to break it up. And you just can't help continue to bring up what this would look like if Jalen Hurts was still in the game. 3rd and 2. Now 4th and 2. Would be a very different play selection.
They're going for it with the pass. Pickett, first down. Devontae Smith. And Smith is slow to get up.
Just build a simple two-man bunch, and Dotson's outside release is all the interference Devontae Smith needs. He knows exactly where the first down marker is, and Kenny Pickett makes a nice, accurate throw and puts it right on his front shoulder pad.
He is still in some pain.
It looked like he landed on the ball. I have to wonder if he just got the wind knocked out of him. And tell you what, that is a scary feeling on the field. So watch, he tucks the ball away, and then see how he kind of lands flat. Watch, right on his belly. Hopefully he just needed a moment to catch his breath.
Sprung up like a jack-in-the-box there. They're looking at him, bang, he's good to go. We need another play or two before he comes in. 7:10 to go in a one-point game. Louvu blitzing. Picked up. Pickett steps up and throws for Barkley. He's got it. And then it came out. Incomplete. Barkley had it but couldn't control it through the ground in an incomplete pass.
So watch Bobby Wagner here. If you're a young defensive player at home, you never stop competing through the ball. If Bobby Wagner concedes that Barkley beat him, oh man, I got beat deep, and you just touch him, it's a big explosive play. But watch, hand to hand, through the ground. Those are the difference of winning and losing games. Bobby Wagner's played at that level for his entire career.
13 seasons, 9-time Pro Bowler. 2nd and 10, it's Barkley. On his 27th carry of the day, he gets 3. 3rd and 7. Against Philly the first time they faced him. They almost blew a 17-0 lead last week in New Orleans.
Yeah, but again, look how many guys up at the box. It's all single high coverage, one-on-one on the outside.
Coming after Pickett, throws tall for Brown. 4th down. 4th and 7, 6:10 to go. Ball right at midfield, and the offense is staying out there.
We've seen Nick Sirianni use 4th down as much as anybody in the league over the last 4 seasons, and I like this call here. Even if you gave up a short field touchdown, it'd still only be an 8-point game, so this makes sense. Marshawn Lattimore is not on the field.
Neither's Barkley. Pickett throws on the run. Brown needs to make a man miss and does. A.J. Brown, first down. He gets 15 yards on 4th down, and the drive continues. We welcome those of you that just finished watching Atlanta beat the Giants. We got a thriller going here. 28-27. Washington has come back to take the lead.
Yeah, so St. Juice, he's on the field. Marshawn Lattimore is not on the field. He's been matched up all game on A.J. Brown, except for that critical 4th down.
Kenny Pickett's been at quarterback since Jalen Hurts left with a concussion in the first quarter. Hands it off to Barkley. A wall of Commanders right there.
And right now, if I'm Philadelphia, I'm continuing all day. You have targeted A.J. Brown. And right now, he's matched up in the slot.
Against Igbenogany. Steps into a tight pocket and gets sacked. Oh, he stepped up in the pocket, but he stepped up right into the defense. And it was Jalen Holmes getting the sack. 3rd and 15.
And it's not really a matter of any of the 5 rushers even winning, but watch how they just kind of constrict the pocket. They just bring the backs of the offensive linemen into the lap of Kenny Pickett.
4th sack of the day for the Washington defense. There's Lattimore into the injury tent.
So right now, Kenny Pickett, he's got to be thinking, get this ball into field goal range. If there's nothing downfield, a check down, something underneath.
Only a 4-man rush, so Pickett with time. Pickett steps up and runs. Kenny Pickett needs the 26. He'll slide down in field goal range, but a flag flies.
All right, so watch. Does he go over the top or does he make contact? Oh, he doesn't hit his head at all. They got to pick that flag up.
Percy Butler flying in there.
Yeah, they got to pick that flag up. Hopefully that's what the conversation is, because it's just simply not a foul.
Well, if they do, it's going to be 4th down and 6, right at the edge of Jake Elliott's range.
So watch the contact.
No foul on the play. Ruling on the field. 4th down.
Replay assist gets involved there. Good job picking it up. And so it is 4th down, and it will be Jake Elliott coming out to try and give the Eagles the lead with 3:53 to go. This used to be a sure thing, as sure of a thing as there was in the NFL, but has not been the same Jake Elliott this year, especially longer field goals like this. This is officially 50 yards. He's 0 for 6 from 50 plus this year. And now a timeout taken.
30 seconds.
We welcome those of you that just watched Detroit take down Chicago. This game, I don't even know where to start, really. 4 turnovers from Washington, so you got no shot, right? But they got the lead.
Yeah, and I can't say enough good things about Jayden Daniels. I mean, he has been fantastic. Maybe not gaudy passing numbers, had a couple big explosives, 2 4th down pickups with his legs, some really good throws downfield. They've really had 0 run game the entire day, so hats off to him. But I'll tell you what, I have a feeling this one's going to come right down to the wire. I don't think we've seen the end of the scoring here.
All right, so a 50-yarder here for Elliott, who is 7 of 8 from 50 plus last year. Still looking for his first make from long distance this year. Wouldn't this be a good time for it as the Eagles try to clinch the East? On the way, did he get enough? This time he did. Philly's back in front. Jake Elliott with his first make this season from 50 plus yards, and it's 30-28 Eagles.
Yeah, it's worth noting, so on that 4th down prior to the Elliott field goal, Dan Quinn was very unhappy about something on his field goal block team. So instead of having all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, how many games have we seen come down where there's change of the lead towards the end and not having the ability to use all 3 of your timeouts, all of a sudden now onside kicks and the inability to get the ball back. So a lot of time left, but to be losing and not have all 3 of your timeouts down the stretch is critical.
Jayden Daniels, meanwhile, has led him from behind. 2 touchdowns here in the 4th quarter, helping Washington overcome 4 turnovers. Luke McCaffrey has had some good returns today. Christian's brother with a head of steam. Boy, had his eyes set on that sideline trying to bounce it outside.
It's all the usual suspects and him.
So here we go. Drive begins with him on the roll. Dump it off. John Bates, incomplete. 4 touchdown passes today for Jayden Daniels against the #1 defense in the NFL in Philadelphia. A little bit depleted without C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is ejected. A couple other guys have dealt with injuries, although you see Josh Sweat and Darius Slay are both in the game after leaving with injuries earlier. So pretty close to full strength, this NFL leading defense that Daniels is facing. On 2nd and 10. Low throw, McNichols. Got 5. Quick update with Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Joe, De'Ami Brown is out with a hamstring injury. We saw Marshawn Lattimore was not in the game. He is questionable with a hamstring.
All right, so you see Luke McCaffrey getting a little more chance on offense. To the top of the screen. McLaurin, his favorite target, lined up to the bottom on 3rd and 5. Daniels pressured, throws across his body, tipped and picked. Reed Blankenship the interception. Blankenship back inside the 30. Well, the 5th turnover of the day finally mean too much to overcome for Washington.
And it's probably his worst play of the day. I could see what he saw, but what happens is when he starts retreating backwards, there's just no way to get this ball and drive it fast enough. It's gonna get undercut by Slay, and then it just turns into a tip drill. It's 3rd and 5. You're trying to make a play downfield, but you just can't throw the ball late off your back foot in the middle of the field. And this is what this Philadelphia defense can do to you. You get put into a must-pass situation, and they can just bring the dogs up front, and it just puts a ton of pressure. Jayden Daniels has faced a career high during his rookie year of pressure faced today. It's a miracle. He's only gotten sacked once, but he's had pressure in his face the entire day.
Commanders have turned the ball over 9 times all year coming in. That's their 5th one today. 2:53, 2 timeouts for the Commanders as Barkley goes down in the backfield. Johnny Newton drops him for a loss.
All right, so now it comes down to timeout usage. They're going to let this thing run down. So what you don't want to do is you don't ever want to use timeouts on the plus side of the 2-minute. That introduces the opportunity for the offense to be able to throw the ball without fear of stopping the clock because they have the backstop of the 2-minute warning. So that's right now what Dan Quinn is managing. He doesn't want to put this Philadelphia offense into anything other than a run situation.
This is a pass, and it's Brown. St. Juste the tackle. Would have saved the touchdown, but that tackle right there as Washington uses the 2nd timeout at 2:07.
Yeah, so
St. Juste doesn't make that tackle. Goodbye.
Yeah, but this is kind of what I'm talking about now. At 2:07, it's right on the cusp that now, no matter whether they run or pass, the 2-minute warning is going to stop the clock. So this is right on. That's a great tackle there by St. Juste, and they're going to continue to target him, as you mentioned, Pam Say, with Marshawn Lattimore in the 10.
Going to be 3rd down and 5 here. St. Juste's been a starter throughout his career, but with Lattimore finally getting healthy, he hardly played last week. And it does not look like Lattimore is going to be coming back in here. So St. Juste is out there, 3rd and 5 with 2:07 left. Kenny Pickett, first chance with the Eagles.
He didn't get this thing close enough here on 3rd down. 4th down's an option.
He'll look to throw. He's got Smith. It's juggled and dropped. Oh, the sure-handed Devontae Smith drops what would have been a 1st down outside of the 2-minute warning.
Wow, so again, you introduce the ability to go through the air because even if that ball's complete or incomplete, the clock's going to stop. And they just get an absolute gift because he was wide open.
Man, he's as sure of a thing as there is in the league.
Wow. So now Worth Worth noting now, 4th down is going to be attempted on the plus side. So when Washington gets the ball back, they'll be able to stop the clock 1 time.
Low snap right there, picked up towards the upright and just through. 4th make of the day for number 4. Jayden Daniels and the Commanders, though, on a day where they've turned the ball over 5 times, are still going to have a shot here to go down and win the game. McCaffrey back to return the kick. He's gotten close a couple times today to breaking it. There's a flag down as McCaffrey returns it across the 35. Let's see what this calls for.
Legal formation. Number 21 on the kicking team left early. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. 1st down, Washington.
Yeah, so Sidney Brown. So the rule is the ball has to be caught or it has to land in the landing zone before the coverage unit is allowed to go. And clearly Brown just a little overexcited there. And, you know, go back to what we talked about, timeouts. They got 1 remaining. They used 1 on defense. They used 1 before the 4th down field goal try 2 possessions ago. And I don't love splitting the use of timeouts. I think you got to use them on either side of the 2-minute warning together.
Olamide Zaccheaus has got 2 touchdowns in this 4th quarter, has 7 yards on the first play of the drive. How many lives do the Commanders have on a day where they've turned it over 5 times? Got the ball at midfield, down 5. On the ground here, Robinson. That's a 1st down. Robinson gets 5. One of the best turnaround stories in the NFL. They were 4-13 last year. Nobody gave them a shot to be any good this year. Trying to get their 10th win in playoff position. 2 games left after today. On 1st and 10, Daniels sideline. McLaurin timing route, 1st down. He got 11.
Just great anticipation again. How many times have we seen Jayden Daniels, at the time he's delivering the ball, have an Eagles defender in his face? Great job here, not only securing the catch, then just simply rolling out of bounds to stop the clock.
4th catch of the day for McLaurin after he only had 1 when he faced the Eagles first time. Philly's showing pressure and bringing it. Daniels steps up, makes a man miss. Jayden Daniels, 1st down inside the 25. Timing again today, making plays with his legs.
And it's really been the difference maker. Jalen Carter has him, but we've just seen they've had a hard time getting him on the ground.
Under a minute to go, another blitz coming, and so an open man underneath. There's McLaurin for 6. 38 seconds, clock winds, they've got the 1 timeout.
Again, coming off last week's game, 8 sacks taken against New Orleans. Career high in pressure, only 1 sack taken.
He's going to run it here, and they're going to have to use that last timeout. I don't think he got a 1st down either. 23 seconds, and they used their last timeout. A lot of time ran off before the ball was snapped there.
Yeah, and I think Jamison Crowder might have missed the alert. You can see Jayden Daniels, he tried to pull that and throw it. So it was a run play trying to pick up the 1st down, and then there was a tag alert on the perimeter, and when he went to throw it, both receivers were blocking.
Boy, this has been the place where miracles have happened this year, huh? You turn the ball over 5 times and still win. The Lions did it against the Texans on a Sunday night earlier.
Yeah, now this is a really interesting call, because if they don't get the ball out of bounds, they got to get the 1st down in order to be able to run up and clock it. If not, it's going to be 4th down with the running clock if they're tackled short.
They are going to run it. It's Robinson inside the 10.
All right, so now they got to get up, and they've got to get it. So Eagles are going to be slow getting off the ground. You've got to clock this ball as fast as you can.
There they do it. 10 seconds. 10 seconds, no timeouts. Ball at the 9.
All right, so obviously this is end zone or out of the back of the end zone. This ball cannot be completed. With 10 seconds, you do not have enough time to be tackled short and get up there and clock it. So you have to throw this ball into the end zone no matter what. And of course, it goes without saying, you cannot take a sack.
McLaurin to the bottom of the screen. 2nd and goal, 10 seconds. Daniels fires, end zone, touchdown! Jamison Crowder, preposterous! 5 turnovers and the lead with seconds remaining.
Washington's going to line up here and go for 2. I'm not sure it really matters with 6 seconds. You're looking for your legacy moment as a young quarterback, revitalizing a franchise that has been desperate for success for what seems like decades. And after falling behind early in the game, you bring it all the way back against arguably the best team in football.
5 turnovers. But he got 5 at quarterback, and he's got 5 touchdowns. 34-33 Washington. They'll go for 2 with 6 seconds on the clock. And it's a run. McNichols crashes ahead. He's got it. 36-33. Back to the touchdown. Crowder's 2nd of the day.
All right, so keep your eye on Zach Bond. He's the middle run-through player. It's 2 high safeties. He's got to carry the middle. And Jamison Crowder's just going to run a simple little middle bend. And Zach Bond, for whatever reason, he just drops him and never flips his hips. And in red zone in the NFL, that's wide open.
And we talked, Greg, about how Jayden Daniels probably should get even more credit than he's getting, considering the cast that he's got. How about this today? He's got 5 touchdowns. 4 of those have come from Jamison Crowder and Olamide Zaccheaus, who entered the day with 0 on the year. 4 of them today.
Take a look here. Andrew Wiley, I think he's good. I mean, he's moving right as that ball is a little half tick early. I think Mike Pereira and Dean have told us that they're going to give the benefit of the doubt when it's close. So I actually think he's good there in super duper slow-mo. I think it's a good no call.
Jayden Daniels, the first Washington quarterback with 5 touchdowns in a game since Mark Rippon in the Super Bowl season 91. They're trying to get to 10-5 for the first time since that 91 season. On the return, it's Gainwell. This is going to be it right here for Philadelphia, trying to make magic on their last play. This is Avonte Maddox. He shovels it back, and that is the ball game. What an incredible comeback. Defying the odds. On a day where they turned the ball over 5 times, they still beat the Eagles. Jayden Daniels, signature game. 5 touchdowns, 10 wins for Washington. Best start since 1991. For the Eagles, the 10-game winning streak comes to an end.